Hello everyone, welcome to the 9th video lecture of Materials Science and Metallurgy video lecture series. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss about homogeneous nucleation and heterogeneous nucleation. Before going to start the lecture, let me give a small introduction to this one. You please see what it is. Yes, it is ship. Suppose if you have taken an outer surface of this bottom of the ship, the total material here in the bottom surface of this ship is made with cupronickel, which is nothing but a combination of copper and nickel. Why do we use a combination of two metals? Means the combination of these two metals will give an alloy. This alloy is resistant to marine corrosion. We know that sea contains salt water. Suppose if you use directly iron to make the bottom surface of this ship, automatically it will corrode very easily. So to stop that corrosion, engineers are going to prepare an alloy which is resistant to that marine corrosion. Okay, for that purpose we have to combine this copper and nickel. Both we have to add together. So in solid state both will not mix each other. So we have to melt them, and then again we have to subject those two metals to cool again. So this process of heating the metal and the process of cooling that metal into the solid state in crystalline form is nothing but our today's video lecture. Is that clear? Come, let us now go to the homogeneous nucleation and heterogeneous nucleation. Before going to that one, I wish to give you a small definition. What is a spontaneous reaction? Spontaneous reaction. We already discussed the definition of this spontaneous reaction in our previous video lecture also. However, I want to recall this definition again. Let us consider that it is a reaction vessel in which you have taken some solid pieces of iron and you heated this vessel until this iron gets melted. That means now this is the molten state of iron, that is melted iron. It is in liquid state. Now this melted iron gained the heat energy from this heating substance. Now it is highly energetic. That means the energy of this molten iron is greater than the energy of this solid iron, because this solid iron gained the heat energy given by the heating element. Now when you left this in air to cool itself, automatically after some time this molten metal will again form a solid metal. For the formation of a solid metal, we did not give any energy and we did not do anything to convert this molten metal into again solid metal. The reaction is natural, it occurs on itself. That means this type of reaction is called spontaneous reaction. We can say one thing, a spontaneous reaction is one which occurs on itself naturally. So during the conversion of this liquid into the solid state, it has to release the given amount of energy into the atmosphere. Generally, it will release the heat energy into the air, and again through this vessel also it will release that heat. Inside this liquid also some physical changes may happen. Those physical changes will help this liquid to form the solid quickly. This conversion of liquid into solid state happens in two different ways. depending on the type of the material. Suppose if it is a pure metal, then the solidification process is called homogeneous nucleation. Suppose if you have taken impure metal, or if you have taken combination of metals, let us say, let us take the example of copper and nickel. That means if you have taken alloy, in such case that type of solidification is called heterogeneous nucleation. So finally I can say one thing, for pure metals homogeneous, for impure metals or alloys it is heterogeneous. There are two different ways of solidification depending on the state of the metal. Homogeneous nucleation. Let us imagine that it is the molten metal, which is a pure metal, pure molten metal. So this system was left in air to release its heat energy. As a result, it will lose its heat energy into the atmosphere. So slowly what happens, the temperature of the system is going to be decreased. During this decreasing process, the atoms present in the liquid will move here and there because they are in liquid state. They will move with the different kinetic energies. Whenever the system is going to lose its heat energy slowly, the fast moving particles will be slowed down. Whenever a fast moving particle was slowed down, and if there is another particle nearer to it which is also moving with the slow velocity, whenever the system's temperature was below the freezing point, or you can say melting point, then automatically what happens, these two particles will add together and they will form a small solid particle. This small solid particle is called metal cluster. This metal cluster is going with or moving with very slow velocity. Whenever it meets another metal cluster, it will add this cluster. So finally what happens, 2 or 3 metal clusters will add together and will form one big cluster of having a critical size or a minimum size. This particle now is not called as metal cluster, it is called as nucleus. What is the difference between nucleus and a metal cluster? Metal clusters are very, very small sized particles. They will add together to form a big size solid particle. This big size solid particle is called nucleus. Okay, in the liquid you can identify different type of nuclei formed at different places. Okay, now each nuclei wants to add nearby atoms to increase its size. But all these small particles are moving with a different velocity and here and there. So to stop their motion, it wants to create a cooling surface around it. To create a cooling surface around it, this nucleus, what will it do? It will influence some clusters to redissolve in the liquid. Of course, it is a hot liquid. This is the liquid which is in hot condition. Suppose here is a nucleus formed and it wants to increase its size by adding the small particles nearer to it. However, at some places there are small clusters which are not having enough size. Finally, the system always wants to release the amount of heat which it had. So to release the amount of heat, it will lose its heat in this direction like this, and at the same time in the system also there are small clusters. These small clusters, after forming as solids, again redissolve into liquid state. For that dissolution also it needs some amount of energy. So that energy is taken from the system by these clusters to redissolve. The particles around this nucleus will gain less heat for their movement. As a result, they will be slowed down. Slowly this nucleus will increase its size. As a result, different type of nuclei will increase their size. Finally, they will form a grain. Is that clear? Let me explain you very clearly again. This is the molten metal. Okay. In this molten metal, there are different particles which are moving with the different velocities. These are the small particles. These small particles are moving with the different velocities in different directions. This system is left in air to release its heat. During releasing its heat, it is cooled. As a result, the speed of these particles will be decreased. Suppose if there are two particles nearer to each other and if their velocity was slowed down because the total system was cooled, as a result they will come nearer to each other and they will form a small particle like this. This is the solid particle. The formed small particle is called metal cluster. Okay. These metal clusters will add together to form a giant size solid material. So this is called nucleus. So these type of nuclei are formed at different places in this solution. All these nuclei want to increase their size. To increase its size, it has to attract the nearby atoms to it. But these small particles are always in vibration. Why? Because they are having some heat energy. They are in vibration always. So since they are in vibration, it has to slow down their energy to convert them into solid state from liquid state. For that purpose, this nucleus wants to decrease their vibrations. In order to decrease their vibrations, what it has to do? It has to decrease the temperature around these particles. To decrease the temperature around these particles, this nucleus will influence some clusters which are present in the solution to redissolve in the liquid. Whenever these clusters redissolve in the liquid, automatically what happens? They will take some amount of energy from this system. The system is having some heat. So some amount of heat is taken by these clusters for their redissolution. As a result, the total heat of the system will be decreased. Whenever the heat of the system is decreased, automatically these vibrating particles vibrate with a slow velocity, or the vibrations of these particles will be decreased. As the vibrations of these particles were decreased, automatically they get attracted towards this nucleus. As a result, the size of the nucleus, suppose this is the nucleus, the size of the nucleus will increase like this. So finally you will find some grains like this. These are the grains formed in the solid metal. So all these nuclei will form grains. That means this is the nucleus. It will increase its size like this. Okay, this is the nucleus. It will also increase its size. This is the nucleus. It will also increase its size. So this will also increase its size. As a result, you will find a grain type structure in the solid metal. Is that clear? So here I want to introduce a small word called embryos. What are embryos? Embryos are the metal clusters which are going to be re-dissolved. So metal cluster, if it re-dissolves in the liquid, then we have to call it with a different name, embryos. Is that clear? Come, let us read the notes. Homogeneous nucleation. Please see here, when a pure liquid metal is cooled below its equilibrium freezing temperature, slow moving atoms, just we saw slow moving atoms, these are the slow moving atoms, bond together and forms clusters. These slow moving atoms will bond together and they will form a cluster. Okay, the second point, the size of the cluster will increase by the addition of more and more atoms and reaches to a critical size. That means these clusters will increase and they will add together to form a giant or a big size solid particle, which you call it as nucleus. Okay, all clusters which are having lesser size than critical size are called embryos. Just we discussed. All particles, these are cluster particles. All particles which are having lesser size than the nucleus are called embryos. Critical size clusters add together to form stable nucleus. However, embryos are continuously being formed and may again dissolve. That means redissolve in molten metal due to agitation of atoms. Finally, redissolving of embryos will decrease the temperature of the liquid. This decrease in temperature will favor the formation of critical size clusters or nucleus. Here also there is a diagram. You please see here, this is the liquid state of a metal and it is a pure metal and it contains small nuclei. These nuclei will increase their size and they will form grains, and finally you will get a solid material with grain structure like this. Is that clear? This is homogeneous nucleation. Come, let us discuss the homogeneous nucleation by taking a small graph. In this graph, I wish to introduce two terms. Those are volume free energy and surface free energy. Suppose if you have taken this liquid state, from this liquid state, what you have to first form? A nucleus. This nucleus is in solid state. So the energy of the system which is utilized to form this solid state is called volume free energy. And what happens afterwards? These nuclei will increase their size and finally they will form grain. That means the surface of these nuclei will increase. For that purpose also it needs some energy. That energy is called as surface free energy. Is that clear? You just remember the graph shown here. So here I wrote, in homogeneous nucleation of a solidifying pure metal, the following two kinds of energies play an important role. What are those energies? One is volume free energy, which is released by liquid to solid transformation, and another one is surface energy required to form the new solid surface of the solidified particles. I'll explain you clearly. You please see here, it is the liquid. First, this liquid has to transfer into a solid, even at a small place. So, for this purpose, volume free energy is used. After the formation of a solid, that means this particle, what it has to do? It has to increase its surface. That means it has to solidify the total liquid. For that purpose, there is one energy from this solid to total solid formation. We need some energy. That energy is called as surface free energy. Is that clear? So, please see here, the volume free energy released by liquid to solid transformation. The surface free energy is required to form new solid surfaces of the solidified particles. Is that clear? You please see here, I explained the total process in 4 points here. That is, first, the formation of spherical nucleus is governed by volume free energy. Formation of a surface around the nucleus is governed by surface free energy. To lower the temperature of the system, many embryos redissolve in molten metal. As a result, the total temperature of the system will be lowered. Is that clear? Finally, the growth of the formed grains also lowers the energy of the system. It is a small point. The increase of solid surface will also lower the energy of the system. Heterogeneous nucleation. Heterogeneous nucleation happens in impure metals or alloys. Suppose if I have taken a metal which contains some impurities. Okay, this metal is having some impurities. Let us imagine that all these are impurities. Now, I heated this total impure metal. Let us imagine that the melting point of this metal is less than the impurity. That means the melting point of this metal is lesser than the melting point of the impurity. This is the vessel, and this metal went into molten state, but the impurities are present in solid state. So, whenever you left this metal in air to cool, it will lose its heat energy. Whenever this liquid wants to solidify, there are already solid particles present in the solution. So, automatically what happens? The solidification process starts on these impure particles. Is that clear? So, there is no need to form a nucleus for this heterogeneous formation. The formation of a nucleus will happen on the surface of impurities. So, impure metals will solidify very easily and fastly. So, we can say that the solidification starts on the surface of these impurities, or sometimes the solidification will start from the surface of the vessel also. Why? Because this vessel is in lower temperature when compared to the temperature of the solution. So, automatically solidification may start from the surface of the vessel, or solidification may start upon the surface of the impurity. So, this is heterogeneous nucleation. In this type, the nucleation starts either on the surface of its container or on insoluble impurities present in the molten metal. The surface to form nucleus is much lower at the surface of the container or impurity than the surface energy required for the formation of nucleus in the molten metal. That means, suppose if you take this impure metal, this is the molten metal and these are the impurities. So there is no need for this to create a nucleus on its own. That means, the formation of nucleus upon the surface is very easy. Why? Because it requires much lower energy. Okay, heterogeneous nucleation, the required critical size is also less. Hence, liquid metal is not needed to be cooled much low its equilibrium or freezing temperature. In case of alloys, suppose if you take alloys, the formation of this tree-like shape is observed, which you call them as dendrites. Okay, in case of alloys, solidification takes place over a range of temperatures. While the alloy is in this range, it has a pasty form that consists of a solid tree-like structure called dendrites. The shape of the dendrites influences the mechanical properties of the metal or alloys. Is that clear? So, in this video lecture, we learned two different things. One is a homogeneous nucleation and another one is a heterogeneous nucleation. In homogeneous nucleation, the solution tries to form the nucleus within the molten solution itself. It belongs to pure metals only. Suppose if you come to heterogeneous nucleation, in heterogeneous nucleation, nucleation can be easily started upon the surface of the impurity or by touching the surface of the container. So, the freezing or formation of a solid from liquid state is very fast in case of impure metals when compared with the pure metals. Is that clear? In the next class, we will discuss another topic. Thanks for watching till the end.